good afternoon, or if you're in the Toronto area, good evening. It is October 16th, 2020. A 15-year era in San Jose comes to the end as Joe Thornton has signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Welcome to Teal Town Live. This is your live interactive show. Chat with us and fellow Sharks fans in our YouTube channel, the page, or the app, and of course, follow us on the social at Teal Town USA, and of course, hit us up on our website at tealtownusa.com. Pleased to be joined by AJ Strong.
Hey now.
And I am Eric Curry. You can follow me at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. So AJ, your reaction to what occurred about 3 hours ago when the news came out that Joe Thornton will be wearing maple leaf blue whenever the NHL wants to come back.
Yeah, right. My reaction, fuck him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I've been saving that all day.
And to our Maple Leaf viewers, please hit subscribe. Oh,
no,
boy.
no, of course you're going to miss the old man, but look, it's so funny that there are some people out there that are sitting here going, oh my God, I can't believe he's leaving or whatever. You guys weren't paying attention. You weren't reading the tea leaves. If you follow Kurz, specifically actually Kurz, he more than several times has said how much Jumbo was unhappy by not being moved at the deadline, especially after seeing, Dylan get moved and Marleau and Goodrow. I mean, there was a lot of pieces that left this team, and Thornton seemed a bit perplexed. And again, you listen to a lot of the things that Kurt said, he was tilted about not getting moved. And I don't know that this had a huge impact, but perhaps a scotch, if you will. But dude, I mean, to me, this was expected. If you've listened to some earlier pucknologists, we talked about this, and part of it was, look, my money was that he was not coming. He, Jumbo was just tilted, and there was a lot of speculation that there was a deal for him to go to Dallas, and somehow that got nixed. And it's weird, because based on who you talk to, it's, one rumor mill says, well, Doug Wilson nixed it for whatever reason. Then it's a scout in Dallas nixed it for some whatever reason. Or if you listen to another rumor, I wish I could remember the gentleman who writes for The Athletic, who covers, I want to say Sean Shapiro, but I believe he had an article, and it even talked about there was an earlier deal on the books for Thornton to go to Dallas. And this is years ago. And in fact, the quote, if I remember correctly, it was like, Thornton nixed the deal and it was right during the time that he was in a big fuck you with the general manager. And if you remember, I'm assuming this goes back to the whole thing of, Jumbo, the quote I think from Doug Wilson was, well, Jumbo tends to lash out or something. And I had to do with his captaincy being removed, and it's, well, Jumbo can happen. And the weird part of that, the rumor with Dallas, and I hate swimming in the rumor mill,
right?
But it was an interesting rumor that I'm trying to remember where I read it, and that's not going to happen because I'm reading Shang, I'm reading Kurz, I'm reading Pachelka. I got too many things. But if memory serves, somebody had said Wilson, or at least there was speculation, could you imagine how the fans would react if Joe Thornton had been moved to Dallas and the Stars, who did come this damn close to winning the whole thing, Could you imagine the heat that the fans would put on Doug Wilson if he had moved Thornton there and Dallas wins the whole thing, and you've got both Pavelski, the guy you couldn't find the money to sign, and your other former captain, both winning there? That would be a lot of heat for Doug Wilson to take, my friend.
Yeah, it would be really rough for Doug. I thought just let alone when Pavelski were to have lifted the cup, I think that would have been a huge
Yeah.
one just because of how beloved Pavelski was loved here. I mean, no offense to Pavs, and I think you could talk about the three of them, Marlowe, especially when he went to Toronto, really originally, Pavelski, and then Thornton. You know, if any of those guys had won the cup, you know, I think there's a lot of heat on saying, we let him go too early. We let him go too early. And you and I are both on agreement that you need to get rid of guys a year before, before
Bill
the
Walsh.
Bill Walsh theory.
Yeah. Dump a guy a year too early rather than a year too late. I am a firm subscriber in the Bill Walsh philosophy in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But, dude's 41. I don't think anybody's going, maybe the Sharks are letting go of him a little too early. No one's saying this.
No, not at 41 years old.
Yeah.
So let's get to some of the comments in the chat, and we'll get to some of the comments that the Sharks players said. Christian Ruiz, AJ's Fug'em made me spit out my beer. Sleepy Mofo wondering, so where's the jumbo jersey burning ceremony as long as they're Fanatics jerseys? Just kidding. Cardiac, of course, doubles up with the how about just a plain Fanatics burning party?
I got no problems with that.
Woodacow 91, do you think he comes back if we're somehow competitive by the trade deadline? Now,
it would not surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me, but my thinking is what if Toronto's really all in and they want to bring back their other dad, Patrick Marleau?
Welcome to the reboot of the sitcom My Two Dads.
Right?
I see the only way, and it's an interesting idea. The only way I could possibly even consider seeing something bizarre like that happen, which would be the ultimate Sharks are going to shark moment. The only way I can see that happening is if the NHL has like a 70-game schedule. If it's super compressed where it's like 48, I just can't see the Sharks moving Marleau before he breaks Gordie Howe's record. I just can't.
Yeah. It'd be really tough for them to do. Really tough for them to do because I think the org really wants that to happen in the San Jose uniform for sure. Al, of course, saying I guess no heat for good where winning a cup. Well, maybe a little bit, but maybe that first round pick kind of eases things just a skosh, right?
I mean, that helps, but it's like, of course there's no heat for winning a cup. Dude, there's no heat just because like everybody was shocked. They're like, wait, we got a first round pick for this guy? Yeah, no, that was no. But it's, again, it all had to do more with the fact that, but it was all based around Pavelski.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So it's a 1-year deal, 700,000, so league minimum. He's got
same as Marleau, same as Nieto.
Yeah, and he's got the I guess he's got maybe some incentives if I read that correctly.
What, for facial hair or statistics?
For facial hair.
I'm sure there's there's going to be some bonuses. Give him his cookies. Absolutely. It's a bare minimum deal. Look, I think he's going to enjoy playing in front of his, it's in basically, I don't want to say outright say his hometown, but look, fact of the matter is, Toronto right now on paper just based on Vegas projections when it comes to Toronto's projection for finishing higher than the Sharks, significant. If you look at Vegas, I think what the last odds I saw were 60-1, had them basically, I think, in the bottom 12 teams, basically in the bottom third of the league.
Right.
If you know that this is like your last shot at it, you don't want to go out with a fart in an elevator. Don't want to go out with a whimper. I mean, at least you're going to be playing. It's going to be easy for the folks to watch you, have a good time out there. Who knows what Marlowe said?
Yeah.
How much did Marlowe impart to Thornton to say, dude, you know what? They know how to treat people, and I had a really good time for my 2 years, and blah 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 blah. Here's the thing that no one has actually said anything about yet, and this is just me just sticking the needle in the side. How pissed are Sharks fans going to be if that first game that the Maple Leafs play at SAP and fans aren't allowed in because of COVID?
Oh man.
Man, dude, that's going to suck.
That's if we're allowed to see the Maple Leafs, because most likely we're hearing, they're playing in
Oh,
a Canadian division and they may not
that's
be able
true.
to get down. That throws another
That's
wrench
true.
into things. But hopefully, maybe, and we all know how much Commissioner Bettman has say in the scheduling, especially early on, since he made the quick arrangement of the reverse sweep, and put the Sharks against the Kings the following opening night while they raise their banner. Yeah, thanks, Bettman. Uh, hopefully they figure out that they move this game to later in the year, because I mean, if you're gonna have the Canadian
Well,
teams move down, you better make sure that you try to get fans in the stands for that one.
you can't move it too far because you don't want Marlowe and Thornton on the same team at that time. You want them to take the face off against each other. No. Because, dude, I'm sitting here behind me. You can't see it right now because of the way that this photo is framed, but there's a photo on my wall
Oh yeah.
that has Nabby dropping the puck. It's Nabby. It's an alumni night. Nabby dropping the puck between Pavelski as the captain of the Sharks, Marlowe as a member of the Maple Leafs. Bro, you know that when the Sharks play the Leafs, it's going to be, Couture taking it against Jumbo. They're putting him out there for that photo op. And now I'm just like, God damn it, there's another photo I'm going to have to try to get signed and blah, 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 blah. Anyway.
I actually wonder, maybe they put Marlowe out there for the face-off against Thornton.
Oh, you're right. Actually, no, no, absolutely. I think that's absolutely what you do in that situation. Hey, Ricci, drop it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hold on. I saw something in the chat that was interesting to me. Doug needs to address third center now, Holla or Granlund, please. I've been saying it for a while. Ask Jerk. I would loves me some Holla. I don't know. Two things. First off, I don't know that the Sharks, I don't think they want to spend the remaining money that they have. I think they want to look at what they have. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a replay of last year where, I mean, Doug Wilson has kind of all but said it, that the youth are going to get another opportunity. They obviously didn't make much of it last season,
right.
but they're going to get an opportunity to show that they're a year older, hopefully a year wiser, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what they can do. So whether it's Shellman or Gregor or hell, Patrick Marlowe, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with the third center and fourth center. Gambrell, obviously another option.
Right.
We'll see. But that's the thing, when I talking to Jerk Class technologists, the top six, I'm not super thrilled about, but Couture, Kane, Meyer, Donato, LeBanc, sure.
Yeah.
But the bottom six scares the living hell out of me. And now that you've taken away another veteran presence, it should be interesting to watch. And maybe that's why Wilson is still holding on to the little cap space that he has left.
Right.
Maybe it's also the fact that he wants to hold on to that cap space because maybe Middleton, Knizev, whoever that they end up, whoever stands out at training camp to match up with Ferraro.
Right.
There's that. There are some options there, but I mean, Kurz said it earlier. In fact, I was saying it before Kurz put it out there. I look at this roster on paper. Do I think it's going to perform better than last year? Well, if you just take injuries out of the equation, you would hope.
Yep.
But I still don't think this is a playoff team. And I said it before. I think this is going to be kind of a redo of 14-15. This is a transition year.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned it to you before with it being in 03-04, being a transition year and maybe start of building up the younger guys up. That if they play ridiculous like they did a couple of years ago, where Timo had 30, Evander had over 30. I mean, where these guys just went goal scoring crazy. Yeah, I think they can do it, but the youngsters need to show up day one of camp, whether or not they have a development camp or not, or just come out training camp to compete. And we heard Doug Wilson on the media call. He wants competition in camp, and these guys need to show up after what they did last training camp. These guys need to show up, or else they're looking for somebody else quickly. And there's other pieces to the puzzle where you just can't sit back and be like, Chekovich, Shemolevsky.
Well,
that's it. Okay, I'm good.
It should be interesting to see if the NHL gives the 7 teams that weren't in the playoff bubble, if they get an extra couple of weeks or something of camp in order to try to help them out a little bit and balance out everybody's fitness level. I liked what Sleepy Mofo put in the chat. That Kurz was suggesting Handemark. I don't know why or how he came to the conclusion when he's had no experience in the NHL. I understand what you're saying, but if memory serves, I think Handemark is like 27, 28. I mean, he's an older guy. So, if you don't think he's ready to like perform at this level, I don't know why you keep him. At this point, especially when you have so much youth in the pipeline. But
right. And Anthony,
what are you going to do?
And Anthony also mentioning Handemark makes sense as a fourth liner. My concern is we are hoping for too many things in the lineup. That LeBanc and Donato are top 6 wingers. That kids can fill the bottom or as second 6.
But that's what last season was.
Yeah, and
it was a hope and a prayer. And instead, it ended up being Murphy's Law. Just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Your Tankin is on the goddamn opening night roster. When you saw that, I think you had to have been like, Jesus Christ, really? 3 games in after Marlowe. I'm not trying to blow my own horn here. Marlowe literally told me, I was at a practice. Saw Marlowe following captain's eyes, and Marlowe's coming out. And I straight up asked him, so when are you throwing back a teal jersey? When's that coming back on? And he straight up said, I don't think it's going to happen. It's not looking good. And then what happens? Sharks drop 3 games, and all of a sudden, the return of Patrick Marleau. So strange things can happen. Again, I'm surprised at this point Marco Mueller hasn't been given an opportunity to come back. But whatever. And I know people are talking about Duclair. I mean, again, I feel, and Kevin Kurz has kind of said the same thing, is that, it seems like Doug Wilson, based on the calls that he's had with the media, he seems at this point that this is the roster that he wants. This, whether he's going to come out and say it or not, again, I go back to this feels like 14-15. The youth are going to get opportunities. This is going to be a transitional season. And what else does that do? It takes us into the Seattle expansion draft. Maybe based on that, you're able to get rid of Burns, whether you find a dance partner at the trade deadline, whether you expose them, which would piss me off. Like, I'm more than happy to get Burns off of this roster to free up that 8 mil. Who wouldn't?
Right.
But the guy still has some stuff in the tank. He's still a valuable asset. I would very much hope, rather than just not protecting him and exposing him and just letting him go, I would hope that the Sharks could find some sort of a situation to get value back for him at the deadline, provided that the Sharks at that point are well out of the playoff picture. Again, who knows? Stranger things have happened, my friends. That it could be a fact of like Meyer and LeBanc don't look strong at right wing in the first few weeks or whatever, and somebody comes, comes. Hey, what about putting Burns back and forward, yo? And that
Not
could
that
start
again.
a whole new thing.
Not again.
Yeah, I would hope not. Especially if Merkley proves out through 20 games that he's already able to make the jump.
Right.
Then that's just a scotch more.
Well, and that adds on a whole lot more. And yeah, that's where I can actually say, okay, let's try Burnsy there. But
Are we supposed to be talking about Joe Thornton? All of a
well,
sudden, this
yeah, I
turned
know,
into
I
like
know.
what the Sharks are going to be next
Well,
year.
I mean, it's kind of in a sense because I think a lot of people had it planned third line center. A couple comments in the chat. California is Don's Coin making coming. No, and Eldon, we should boot you for this hashtag hotbod.
Jesus Christ.
Atha to see you and such. But yeah, let's get back to Jumbo because I mean, after all, the guy was here, got traded in the middle of a game between the Sharks and the Stars. I'm sure you can go back with some memories here, but November 30th, 2005, they're in the midst of a 9-game winless streak. This team comes back from the lockout after their best season ever, and just gets completely shell shocked. And then we hear Randy Hahn's like, okay, where's why is Jim Fahey playing? Why is Nico Dimitrakos playing? Oh, something must be happening.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You see, it's like Sturm, Stewart, Primo. And wait, what?
Right? It,
uh, but he's, I mean, if memory serves, I mean, obviously when Marlowe was moved, he was the last Shark to wear the original Sharks jersey. And now Jumbo, if memory serves, is the last Shark to wear the second generation jersey.
yeah, I mean,
Is that right?
yeah,
Is that fair?
I mean that's fair. Jumbo wore that one for his first 2 years. Even the black alternate with the teal and white chevrons on the shoulder on the thing. The only ones he hasn't worn were the two originals from 91 to
Yeah.
98.
So
It's
yeah, so it's now Marlowe's back. So again, we still have a Shark on the team that's worn, every jersey. But yeah, it does kind of end a little bit. When Marlowe is gone from this team, you'll finally, have an era where there's no Shark on the team that wore the original one. And now with Marlowe gone, or I mean with Thornton gone, and then Marlowe be gone, then that'll be it.
yeah.
From that era, if you will.
And then well, no, actually, I take that back. Mark Edward Vlasic. He came in the last year of
He did wear the
yeah,
second
he
gen. Yeah,
did.
you're
I
right.
remember that. Yeah, and you know, but let's go through memories of Jumbo here. I mean, of course, I remember the Jumbo slide against L.A. Um,
Who doesn't?
I mean,
Should be a bobblehead,
right,
bobble leg,
yeah.
something. I mean,
Like
come
just have a
on,
big old island and just have him slide a little bit or something.
dude. Dude, I can't even remember. I can't even remember the team that the game was against, but the pass,
Oh,
the one
Dallas.
that was right
It was
to
against Dallas.
Marlowe just right to Marlowe in the crease, where Remenda even like pondered. He's like, dude, I don't even think he looked. I think he saw Marlowe's reflection in the glass, and and just blind past it.
That one was sweet.
Uh, you've got that. I mean, you obviously have uh, for me, one of the best Jumbo memories, obviously, is going to be the off the record comments in a Vancouver dressing room that
Yes.
made them made their ways public, even though Jumbo wasn't in the scrum at the time. But this is following Hurdle's 4 goal game against New York, and somebody asked Marlowe, who I forget the name of the reporter, but asked Marlowe something along the lines of, did you think Hurdle was showboating, or there's been speculation on that. We all know about what Adam Oates said. Um, Disrespecting the game and BS like that. And I just love that when Marlowe heard that question, or when Jumbo heard that question of Marlowe, Jumbo was just like, shut the F up. Have you ever suited up? Have you ever played the game? No, then shut the F up. Yeah, if I score 4 goals, my rooster would be out. It would be out, and I'd be stroking it if I scored 4 goals.
Right.
So, I mean, dude, that's just one of the best Jumbo memories ever. And it had nothing to do specifically with like his performance or him on the ice, and it was off the record. And the fact that those comments have spawned a meme that has taken on a life of its own, where
Yeah.
it's Jumbo cradling a rooster, and every time he scores it's always okay, 1 down, 3 to go,
Right.
and
Exactly.
then wasn't there a game against Boston a season or two ago where he had 3 goals and everybody was like losing
Oh
their shit?
man. I was afraid that we'd probably get in trouble in terms of service that night if he scored the fourth. My goodness. But yeah,
uh,
that was Boston. I think it was 2019.
February 18th, 2019, because I have the puck on the warm up puck from that game sitting on my wall, because I've been holding that puck hoping to get Jumbo to sign that, because he could, and obviously that's going to be a little more difficult to do now, but either way, it's spawned a whole meme. It's fantastic.
That was Jason Botchford, and he's actually a great
Yeah,
reporter. Rest in peace to him. But yeah, I mean,
that dude passed away.
yeah, he passed away
Shit.
about a year and a half ago, unexpectedly. Uh,
Does anybody know where Jumbo was when that happened? No, I'm
dun
kidding. I'm
dun dun. No,
kidding.
no. Um,
um,
but
No, yeah, there's just so many. I mean, anytime he scored, it was just Jumbo passed it to the net.
right.
That's always been the long running joke. Um, yeah, yeah, you're
But
gonna miss a good amount of that.
and just what he brought to the team. I mean, having. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody really had outside. Well, except for that year, Jonathan Cheechoo. I mean, how many times did he set up Cheech on his 56 goal season? Nobody saw. I don't think we ever had a 40 goal scorer prior to that, and and,
No,
and the numbers that Jumbo put up were were for the Sharks astonishing and ridiculous. I mean, he won the Art Ross that year, first time the Sharks ever had a Hart Trophy winner as league
dude,
MVP.
winning both the Ross and the Hart, if memory serves, he again, Google is your friend, and I don't have it in front of me right now. If memory serves, Joe Thornton is the only person in the NHL to win the Ross in a season where he played for 2 different teams,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hart where he played a season with 2 different teams. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
And
250.
I'll let you. Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, throw this up there for a second while I grab a refreshment.
You go for it. 251 goals, 804 assists, 1,055 points in 1,104 games, nearly a point a game in the regular season for the Sharks since his debut in 2005. Again, like we said, the 2006 Art Ross and Hart Trophy winner. First all-time rankings in assists, plus minus, and since AJ's not here, I can make the joke. All-time in facial hair. Second in points in games played, and then fourth in goals and game-winning goals, and that's a lot for shooting, passing it to the net. But that is something else for a guy. 251 goals, AJ, for a guy that we kept saying, "Oh my God, I wish he would just shoot the puck every now and then."
Right?
It's something else, and Sharks last. Oh, and somebody just got his Leafs jersey.
Yeah, I'm all set, man. I'm ready to go, guys. Is what I'm saying. I'm ready to go.
They just need another outdoor
But
game to be
anyway,
in for sure. Um, you know.
I hate my Centennial Classic's on the way.
Oh, did you order it?
Yeah,
Oh, nice. I'm glad. Was it that link I sent
yeah. I just hope I can strip it. I'm sure I can't, but it would be nice.
you?
Dude, there's a lot to. Uh, 15 years. See, the other thing, a lot of people laughed at the Sharks for a long time for good reason. The team really never had an identity until the arrival of Owen Nolan.
Right.
And then and that kind of tied in with Daryl Sutter too. And it brought in that that hard nosed hockey. I mean, Nolan was just a shit kicker. And you had that. At least you had that one line for a little while that was fun to watch between Damphus and Friesen and Nolan.
Oh, that was sweet too.
Little bit of a second line there for Scotch when you had Marlowe and Koryuk, but as we all know, that was not Daryl Sutter's kind of players. And then of course Ricci, Sundstrom, and Scott Thornton. But it was like, the Sharks were never taken too seriously. They made some noise here and there. Of course, there's knocking out President's Trophy winners St. Louis Blues in 2000, and all on the shoulders of Owen Nolan. There's obviously 2004 and the run that they had that unfortunately came to an end against Calgary and their former goaltender. But and what's funny is there was a lot of speculation that, had there not been a lockout after that, that would have been the Sharks year. And I'm like, dare to dream. But because we all know how 2005, the 5-6 season started. But, dude, when Thornton came in, all of a sudden it was like when Nolan was here, it was like, okay, we can't take the Sharks lightly anymore. But when Thornton came in, it was like, okay, we actually have to respect these guys now.
Yeah.
And dude, you think about the guys. Would Chichu have won the Richard with it? No. Would Nils Ekman have been a top line guy? No. That guy, Mark Smith. Anybody who knows me, and they knows me that I loves me some Marky Smitty. I love Mark Smith. And he was usually just an energy. He was a fourth line guy. But man, there was a few times he was given an opportunity because that guy was all heart, all hustle, all the time. And he was given some opportunities with Jumbo during one particular year. And it was the best year statistically Mark Smith ever had.
Oh yeah.
Like goalies, assists, all that. So, Thornton is, as much as you can say it, the guy makes people around him better. So I look forward to seeing how Toronto deploys him. I can't imagine he's going to see a whole lot of ice time. 12, 13 a night, sure. But the other thing I think we need to consider as well is how much fresher is he going to be? Now, again, this is COVID time, so we're not really sure. But if for some reason by the time hockey season starts back up that they do kind of keep the conferences the way, and everybody, the divisions, everything, how much is Jumbo going to benefit from so much less travel?
Yeah, no, and to stay that fresh,
Exactly.
Al Martinet saying made everyone good besides Milan. Milan Mahalik.
I don't remember him getting a whole lot of time with Milan, but
he had some. But there's a reason why he was part of the trade for Danny Heatley in 2009.
For all the Milan defenders, and you know who you are, that one guy. I've said it a bajillion times, is that look, and this is something that I really would like to see. You think of all the statistics that are the Corsi and all the, and Fenwick and all the stuff that natural stat trick, charts.
Right.
The one thing that I never see charted, and I don't know why we don't, is I would love to see value assessed to goals scored. That was one of the things if memories did, was there ever a time that like Roenick and Mahalik were on the same team?
Yeah.
Okay.
From '07 to '09.
Okay. See, now that's the thing that got me is, so you'd have the Mahalik defenders say, oh, well, Mahalik, he's posting up 30, 32 goals or whatever it was, somewhere in the 30s. And well, Roenick only posted, 15 or 14, like half of what Mahalik did.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say, you'd rather have Roenick out there? And the thing was, you looked at Mahalik's goals, it would be a goal that he would score when the Sharks are up 5-1 with 5 minutes left or down 5-1 with 5 minutes left. They were rarely, if ever, game tying goals, game winning goals. Mahalik was not scoring you high value goals. Meanwhile, Roenick, he'd score 14 goals in a season. Half of them would be game winners or game tying goals. They would be significant goals. So that was my point with that, is that I would really like to see somebody have some sort of a value system where it's like, oh, that was a game tying goal or a game winning goal that gets, okay, if it's a game winner in overtime, that gets you 5 points. It's a game winner during, in regulation, 4 points. Game tying, 3 points, but it's, if you score a fucking empty netter because you're up 5-0, yeah, you get no points for that.
Yeah, no, I remember that first year in San Jose that Roenick had. He had a pretty good year that year, including that game 7 against Calgary. Was a pretty good one. But let's get to.
Hold on. Al saying, please don't. I think he's saying, please don't give credit to Roenick for any game-winning goal stat.
That year, though.
Do we all remember? I don't give a shit. Do we all remember the time when it's like Roenick was scratched in Game 6 and then brought in Game 7 and had like a 4-point night? I mean, dude, I don't remember Mahalik ever having a 4-point night when it mattered. You know what I mean?
Clough did against that one game against Detroit.
But that's because Clough plays the fucking puck from the other side of the bench.
And that's another memory. Those series against Detroit in 2010 and 2011, and he was a freaking beast with them. But let's get to some of the tweets that the Sharks players put out. This one from Evander. And remember, when Evander was traded from Buffalo, Jumbo picked him up, which at like 11:30 at night. Evander saying, "Man, I'm gonna."
Oh, I think it was closer to like 1 a.m, and it was in San Francisco.
Yikes!
So that's a trek.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to miss you, but feel very fortunate to play with you and become great friends. So many fun memories in a short period of time. I'll make sure to keep your seat next to me at the back of the plane vacant until you come back.
It's funny, both Evander and, if memory serves, Erik Karlsson kind of alluding to that, that this is great, but he's going to return. And I'm kind of going, really?
Yeah. No, and Erik Karlsson, all the best to the big man. Hopefully this is not our last photo taken together, both as Sharks. Oh, boy. Is he saying that, I think he's saying? No.
I don't even want to get into it. And what's funny, hold on, go back to the EK one for a second, the 65. No, I think it's funny is that you look at like Karlsson is like, oh, and Jumbo's just like, yeah, cover. It's just like half smile. Okay.
Yeah. It's like I'm over here with Joe Thornton, and Jumbo's like, yeah, bud. I just freshly shaved like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, and by the time our little evening is over, I'll still have more facial hair than you. But go ahead.
You're right. Kevin LeBanc, mentor, line mate, friend, and all of the above. Going to miss having him around the locker room. They don't make them like him anymore. You got a good one, Maple Leafs. Good luck in blue Jumbo. I mean, definitely love there. Go ahead.
You know what I'm a little surprised about, but then not, is there's nothing on Joe Pavelski's social media about Jumbo. But then again, Pavelski, not the biggest guy, but Pavelski hasn't posted on Twitter since February 24th. So, he probably forgot his password or something. I don't know. But I'm a little surprised we haven't seen some sort of comment in the media from Pavs because, um, after Jumbo had the captaincy stripped, it was kind of round robin there for a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, because
And then,
go ahead.
well, no, I was just going to say, obviously eventually showing up with Pavelski, but was that the season where it's like, I don't know, five different guys they traded it off? Or am I conflating something?
When they gave it to Pavelski, no, before they gave it to Pavelski.
Yeah, who had it before then?
Well, it was Jumbo. Then Jumbo got stripped of it, and then there wasn't a captain in 14-15.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what it was. You know what? I'm conflating it with like the season where it's like Ricci had 20 games, Macaulay had 20 games, like half the team
yeah,
had 20 games at the patch on. But yeah, okay, that there wasn't, and that now it's rolling back in my mind because I'm like, oh yeah, Winnipeg, who's your captain? And it's like,
right.
where's your Wi-Fi? Yeah, just saying.
Not at Eric's. Yeah, I know. That I knew that was coming. That's why I get that one out. Uh, Curtis Pashelka from the Mercury News had tweeted out that he spoke to Tomas Hurdle, and he said he just told me he would miss me. I was thanking him because he was such a great teammate to me. It's sad because we've been playing with him for so long. You feel like you've always played with him. You know, I mean,
The King's English, of course, from Hurdle.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
Okay, you know what, Hurdle? You want to impress me? Name the baby Joe.
no pressure,
whether
right?
it's a boy or a girl, Joanna, Joseph, doesn't matter.
Josephine, no pressure there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that
Or you go hard left turn and you name him. You name the child one of four: Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo. Any of those four, then I'll be impressed.
I think his
Then
wife Annette will be like, no, no, we've taken this
care
ninja
who's who,
this ninja hurdle thing just a little too far.
honey,
Um,
who's bringing home the cash?
yeah, for sure, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, but yeah, after seeing what Hurdle wrote, and I don't have the one from Couture, but those hit those hit hard, AJ. I mean, those hit really hard. And I was thinking to myself as we were getting ready for this, and it's like, man, I don't really think I was like this bad with when Marlowe left. And I don't mean any disrespect to Patty, but I mean, Jumbo changed and impacted this franchise for so much.
See, like I understand what you're saying, but for me, I sit there and think like this wasn't a shock to me. Again,
Well, yeah,
it's like I expected this to happen. So I think that's why I'm kind of like, it's kind of an end of an era, but
right.
it's I feel like the Sharks kind of needed him to move on to a certain extent. It's the Sharks do have to take the next step to the next era, and if you keep holding on to the past, you can't get to the future. Again, I'm someone who would kind of argue that if you know, I don't want to get back into the whole, if I could turn back time thing.
I think you should.
Maybe if the Sharks don't sign Eric Carlson, they have that money plus the money that was given to Thornton plus the money that was given to Marlowe, and maybe you use that to you knew you had Merkley in the pipeline. I don't know why you need three of these guys, between Merkley, Carlson, and Burns. But you knew that, so the Carlson signing didn't make a lot of sense to me, and that is an awful lot of. That's like almost $15 million. That's a lot of money to be used to replace a Nyquist and a Donskoy and a Pavelski and go out there and get some, so to keep you at that level where you're the second highest scoring team in the league.
Right.
Um, Couple things here. Patrick Marlowe via text said, "Words can't express what Jumbo has meant from my career. I love him like a brother, and I know he will be an amazing influence for the Leafs. Our loss is their gain, no question."
Hmm.
I think that probably holds particularly true for Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, who now have a new father. Um, Brent Burns saying, "Going to miss the big guy. Learned a lot from him and just going to miss his presence." Obviously, there's a facial hair thing there.
Oh yeah.
He's one of a kind and not anyone else like him. Tough to see him go, but happy for him going back near his family. I know how much they will all love that. And then Couture, I guess it's fair to say, Jesus Christ. I guess it's fair to say that I'm still kind of numb about it. At the same time, it's his choice, and everyone in this organization respects him for everything that he's done for all of us players. He's meant so much for my career. So there you go. In fact, hold on. Joe Thornton spent some time before the news broke today to call some of his Sharks teammates, including Couture. "That's just who Joe is. Such a respectful person," said Couture, who added he has no doubt that Joe will contribute to the Leafs. So, I mean, who's the one guy's going to come out and go, "Hey, you know what? I'm not going to miss the goddamn guy." You know what I mean?
Oh, and
The one guy who might say that is probably like the guy who has to like make all the jerseys, because like Jumbo was known for like what, changing his jersey every period.
right, yeah, he would always have three jerseys per game. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like one guy who's just going, "Yeah, I'm not going to miss him in the least because I'm tired of making 3 jerseys every game." You got that guy. Or there's somebody else going, finally, we're going to have a room filled with people actually wearing shirts after the game.
See, when I kind of feel like we should just go topless. We aren't going to show too much on here. Man, come on, ready? Let's get
Well,
those thumbs up, people. Let's go.
this is kind of an interesting thing, though. And Anthony says this in the chat. Couture has total control of the dressing room. At this point now, I kind of think you have to go with that, because
Yeah.
you essentially have the 3 biggest names from this team gone. Essentially, I mean, Thornton gone, Pavelski gone. Now Marlowe, he left. A couple of years, yeah, okay, and then he comes back. I mean, you don't lose seniority, but you don't know what happened during those 2 years while you were in Toronto. Things have changed, but at this point, yeah, you would think that your leaders are going to be Couture and Burns and Vlasic. That's that definitely a presence in the room. And remember, Joe Thornton, that dude is a hockey rat.
Oh yeah.
Loves to be out there, just like Pavelski used to be the first one on, last one off. You look at Hurdle, always like the last one off the ice and warm-up skate. There are certain guys that they're like that. Jumbo was one of those. So it's obviously going to be a loss for the Sharks, at least. And I think, kind of difficult to a certain extent when you had Marlowe there for so long. You lose him, then then you end up losing Pavelski. Now you're losing Thornton. This is some big names to lose from a room over the course of just a couple years. And granted, yeah, you did get Marlowe back. Let's be honest. Does anybody expect Marlowe to be there in the Sharks dressing room next season as a player? Maybe as a coach. I don't know. But as a player, I wouldn't bet money on it. I think this year is quite possibly Marlowe's last ride. And of course, being in a COVID world, that super sucks.
Yeah. I mean, he's expected to break the all-time game played record. Just think, he dealt with a canceled season, one lockout, COVID. I mean, he could be, or he already would have broken the record. He could have been breaking, 1,900 games.
I was going to say he could have been close to knocking on 2K.
Yeah, which would be an absolute crazy astonishment.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking. He lost what? Like 38 games or 36 games when they only played the 48 back during the
34 games.
Yeah, and that was back in, what was that, like 2012, 2011?
13.
Yeah, so you have that. You have the complete lost season in 5-6.
So that's
I mean, dude, right there, that's like
116.
Yeah, so that's 116 right there. You add 116 to where he's at, all of a sudden that puts him to what, like 1850, 1860, somewhere in that neck of
What,
the woods?
1723? I think at 1839 right now. I was told there would be more math
Okay,
at this
so,
show, though.
yeah. But either way, so that, that gives him, yeah, you're right. You take out a couple of those things, dude, he could, and then you add this season on top of it, dude, he could be not, he might play, look, I'd consider saying, hey, do you want to take, you're only going to play 7 minutes a night and you're going to be playing fourth line, but hey, do you want to take a shot at 2K? Be the only player to ever do it in history. Pretty significant.
Right.
And just think of it, we'll cut you in on the merchandising, you know?
Whoever's designing that logo, you better be knocking it out. So,
Well,
a few things in the chat before we get out of here. Sharks Last, Kathy saying, I gave my kitty the middle name of Joseph. Does that count for something?
sure.
for naming their little ones after Jumbo. Anthony Sanchez saying today's news of Thornton leaving just makes the 2016 Cup Finals hurt a little more, knowing
Oh, but
how close you were. Yep. And
dude, you gotta slide those comments down, bro. pull that down to where it's just over our
there we
names.
go.
A little more, and then maybe center.
You want me to center? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so there's actually a center line. There we go.
Okay.
Now it makes sense.
Don't forget Mr. 11.5 million as a leader in the room too.
Uh,
Hold
hold on. Did you misspell diva?
Oh boy.
Did you misspell diva when you wrote leader?
Well, now you're down to three alternates. I wonder who's kind of getting the short end of the stick now with Carlson, Burns, and Hurdle.
Maybe they throw an A at Vlasic.
If he wants it. I know he had it once before, but then he's like, nah, I'm good. I'll just call
Maybe
everybody F face.
maybe they throw it at Kane.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, for sure.
I mean, if they're gonna ride five, where it's like, okay, two guys for home, two guys in away. I still don't like that. I think it's ridiculous. And if I remember correctly, Ramenda said the same thing. He thought it was silly. I think it's like Couture is your captain, fine. I honestly, the A's, I think you give it to Burns, and the other one I could see if you want to kind of pass the torch a little bit, you give it to Kane.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if and this isn't the first time that the Sharks have done multiple A's, so
Hey,
hey, how you doing? I should have saw that one coming. Oh boy.
God, oh, these Adidas jerseys just fit so poorly. I hate them.
If somebody knows how to get Adidas Made in Canada jerseys, contact the both of us.
Oh,
That'd be great.
yeah, hook your brother
Right.
up.
All right. With that, we are just about done. In case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. We're all over the place, so check us out there.
If there's a police chase over the next 3 hours, you can find us on Discord.
Right.
If you want to know what the link is, follow Teal Town USA on Twitter.
Absolutely. So Pucknologist Sunday night, I'm assuming, since we had a lot of Sharks news.
Nothing set in stone, but I'm going to lean towards yes. I have not talked to my co-hosts about that yet, and maybe I just won't, and I'll just do it by myself. No,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, no, we'll see what happens. Especially if anything else kind of rolls down the pipe, but right now it's 50-50. Like our last show, we figured, yeah, went 2.5 hours. That's probably good for the next 2 months. But
right
now there are some things to say. So yeah, we might get into it. The other thing I should point out really quickly too, check us out. Twitter and Instagram posted photos of basically a leak of what the new training ball cap is going to look like for the Sharks this upcoming season. So if you want to see what the new hat looks like for the training camp, which will start sometime in my lifetime. You can find it there on Instagram or Twitter. I'm AJ_strong on Twitter and social media. And with that, I have to pee, so let's
All
go.
right. I'm at PuckGuy14. Go ahead, go. On the Twitter and the Instagram.
Finish.
Last tweet 3 hours ago. Sharks haven't said anything except going to log off for a bit. BRB maybe. And until then, keep it.
And hold on, how tone deaf was that? Like, I understand what they're saying. Like I get the gag where it's kind of like, oh, we just don't know how we feel about this and blah blah blah. That, like, there's twofold. It's that, but it's also like, holy shit, it's Friday. This is like, dump the news time. We need to go make a video. Now, you would think that the monkeys in the graphics department have already something like in the can, because you
Maybe
had to
they
think
didn't.
that this could happen. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Get on the stick. I understand what they're doing, but it was still silly.
So,
Anyway, good night, everybody.
keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real teal. And there he goes. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. Get those likes up. Come on, let's go.